Hi everyone, today let's talk about API basics. API stands for Application Programming Interface. It emerged as web application become dominant. And the benefit of using API is that it allows different systems to talk to each other and make it much easier to develop large and complex software by providing building blocks. And we are going to use the analogy of the API being the waiter, you being the customer, and the kitchen staff being the API server to illustrate how the API process works. So let's think about the last time you go into a bar. You go there and sit down and you will initiate the conversation by placing an order with the waiter. So this is who you are as being the API client. And there's several components you want to be in your request or order. For example, you are only allowed to order things on their menu item. So this specify what you are allowed to order. And the method is how you want the order to be placed. For example, whether you want to dine in or take out. The parameters are special request or preferences you want the drink or food to be. For example, you don't want ice in your drink, and you are able to put that in the request parameter. And the headers are additional instructions that are requested by the API. For example, you want to show you are 21 years older if we want to place some alcohol. And the kitchen staff being the API server, they will start to prepare your order once the waiter sends the request to them. So they will check the authentication, validate the input, and process the request. So what does that mean? It means the staff will check whether the food you want to order are available in the refrigerator. And if it is, it will get the food out and start to prepare that, and then put the other food on a dish, and then give that back to the waiter. And then once the food is ready, the waiter will come back to you, telling you your order is ready, and serve you with the food that you ordered. Or in another cases where the food you ordered is out, and the waiter will come back, tell you that the food is not ready. And usually it will also provide you excuse or apology the request body. So in this case, you might want to change your API request again and then place another order. As we mentioned earlier, we have the header information to show you are 21 years older. So this is part of the API authentication, which is super important in these days because API sends sensitive data around, and we want to make sure only authorized users are able to access the API. So there are four most common methods for the authentication. And let's use the example of going into a special event at the bar and how you can get into the bar is a question. The first one is basic authentication. Basically, you tell the bouncer, the guy you see in the picture, who will check the ID to make sure you have the access right to get in. So in this case, you show them your name and the password, and the bouncer will check whether that information is available in their database. And if it is, you are allowed in. It is simple, but not secure because other people can hack your account and find the information and pretend to be you. The Bay Area token is the reservation code to verify you have booked a seat at that event. So, for example, you already paid for that event on Eventbrite, and you can show them the code that you already paid, and you can get in. And the third common method is called OAuth, which is the open authentication. And you can think of it as a special West brand given by your organization for limited access to that party. And usually those third parties can be providers such as Google, Facebook, and Microsoft. And you're on many websites, you see the options of logging using your Google or Facebook account. So that's the OAuth in the backend. And in this example, you can think of that this party at the bottom is free for college students. And you go there, you show them your college ID, and they will allow you in. So this case, the third party being your college has already arranged the agreement to show that you are eligible student and you have the access right to that party. So the last, but also maybe the most common authentication way is the API key. So API key is sort of the general admission ticket for multiple entries and not tied with the individual compared with the basic authentication. So API key really is a long static string. It's static and long-lived. So you have the responsibility to store the key secretly and only use that when needed, because usually consuming the API key requires some sensitive data and maybe some cost. So usually you want to store that very securely, like in a vault, and not to share the API key with the other person. So that's all about the basics of API. Thank you very much for listening.